Well, if you could build an off-season pitching program that's guaranteed to help you throw harder, walk less hitters, and stay healthy, because at the end of the day, we all want to dominate on the mound. And at the end of the day, velo wins, strikes wins, and staying healthy makes you reliable. If you've never seen my videos before, my name is Casey Holland. I am a remote and hybrid pitching coach. I also am an assistant coach at Heartland Community College. This is my third year, going on my third year. We have been to the World Series 3 times in the last 3 years, and we won the national championship my first year here 2 years ago. It was really fun, and then after we won that, I realized this is something I really want to do, so I'm still doing it. Now we're in the ramp up phase of the off-season pitching program of mine. As you see, ramping up. First phase. What's our focus on for ramp up? Just arm care and mobility. We are going to focus on taking care of our arm really well, making sure there's no weak points or injuries that we need to focus on. And if there are injuries or weak points, we need to hammer those. We need to hammer working them out, whether it's seeing a PT or doing your own stuff that you know works. And I'm like, I need mobility. I'm a tighter guy. I get tight hips. I have tight shoulders. My whole body's tight. I need mobility. And for throwing, 3 days a week, all of it light. All of it light. For arm care, like I said, focusing on arm care. We want to get into throwing shape. What does that mean? Our arm is ready to take the load of a baseball when we throw it many times. We have to get our arm used to throwing action where when we throw, the UCL takes on stress. So when you take some time off, the UCL actually gets smaller. If you were throwing a lot before, it gets smaller, but it gets tight. It gets very tight. And if you go from ramp up to 100% right away, it's very likely for the UCL to snap right away. Same thing with other ligaments in the shoulder too. So we need to slowly build up that UCL also. And when you're in the middle of a season, that UCL goes from small to big, but it can stretch. It's big, so it can stretch. And we don't want to throw 100% when we are in our ramp up phase because of that UCL being so tight and small. And if you don't know, most throwing injuries to pitchers happen early on in the season or in the ramp up phase when people go way too hard. And for strength, we are building strength. We pretty much in a hypertrophy phase. We're just trying to get bigger, get strong, and I want to increase mobility. So for strength, that'll probably look like for the core lifts about 8 to 10 reps, maybe more. Accessories are 10 all throughout all phases. But we're really just trying to really build up some volume and get some strength. Like I said, I'm a mobility guy. I need mobility. I am a tight person. I'm going to do mobility 2 times a week, every single week. And then I'll also do some mobility stuff in my warm-up routine. And with throwing, I need to get on this now. We need to have a good warm-up routine that warms us up, gets the blood flowing, gets us sweating, and when we're doing bands, we're kind of getting a burn in our shoulders, a little pump, to make sure our body's fully ready to throw. Just like we can't start throwing when we're cold, because everyone knows the saying with the rubber band, if a rubber band's cold and you try to pull it, it'll snap. If a rubber band's at room temperature or warmer, if you pull it, it's not going to snap unless you pull it too far. I also forgot to say, ignore my handwriting. It's so bad. I'm left-handed. If you know any lefties that write left-handed, any lefties that write left-handed, whatever. It looks like this. It's never pretty. Sorry. We're in the foundation phase now. If you ever drive by a house that's in the middle of construction, what's the first thing they do when building a house? Is it building the roof? No. Is it building the kitchen? No. It is building the foundation of the house. Everything under it. The cement, the piping, everything. So we are building a foundation right now. Our focus for the foundation is staying healthy and increase workload. We want to stay healthy throughout this whole process. And when we increase workload, that's when injuries can pop up. But since we do arm care, it can pop up. But when you do arm care, it is less likely for you to get hurt, and you are able to bounce back better. If you don't do arm care, you're just pretty much saying, I hope my body recovers fast enough. And I don't like that. I think working out and just working your muscles is the best thing for you. Going on to throwing, we are adding volume and workload. We're going to start adding some drills, whether it's drills that you suck at. Like if you suck at your arm action sucks, we're going to do some constraint drills where your arm starts here, and you're going to do whether it's a rocker where you start right here and you go forward, back, throw, or it's the walking backwards, throw, walking forwards, throw, or just this is one of the easiest things to do if you're alone. Just get a ball, tennis ball, baseball, whatever, throw it against the wall, field it, throw it, get some athletic throws in, and then think you're a shortstop throwing to first base. We can't be throwing at this same slot every single time. We have to change it up. Arm soreness is normal, and it is some people freak out, but you have to know the difference between pain and soreness. Are you hurt or are you sore? Arm soreness is normal, but when we figure out how we could do arm care, we optimize our arm care for the week. So we're going to be sore on our highest intent day for our foundation phase. We're going to be sore. It's going to happen. But when we figure out what days we do a heavy arm care on, the soreness is going to be normal. Just like when you deadlift, yeah, your low back's going to be a little sore, but that's part of the exercise. It's going to work on your back. You're going to be sore every week. Now, doesn't mean you're insanely sore. No. If you don't do deadlift for 6 months, then you do it, and you go to the same weight that you were doing it 6 months prior, yeah, you're going to be sore. So, same thing with arm care. We have to stay consistent with all of this. Have to stay consistent. And with strength, we're going to lower our reps to 5 on the core lifts. So like deadlift, RDLs, dumbbell bench press, whatever's a core lift, we're going to lower them to 5, and then we're going to increase weight to about this 80% range. Now the 5 reps, that's getting into the power focus. When we're working on power, it's building our foundation. In order for us to do well in the game prep, we have to get our foundation. In order for us to do well during the season, we have to have a good foundation. If you don't have a good foundation, you're going to crumble later at some point. Just like if You lay one brick at a time on top of each other, but you forget to lay one. So one's taken out and you lay one, don't lay one, then you lay one, lay one. At some point, once you get to the second row, something will fall. Just like this. If you don't build your foundation, you will have some issues later on. Now we're moving on to game prep. 4 to 6 weeks this should take, just like foundation, just like ramp up, 4 to 6 weeks. And then before we get to game prep, we could add some deload weeks into our foundation and game prep, because there's going to be times where we do everything right, we do all the days, and sometimes we just have a tough week of sleep, or something happens in our life outside of baseball and we need a deload for a week. We got, if you feel amazing, don't need a deload. But if you feel like you have had a stressful week and you don't feel like you're getting better on one week, then the next week, take a deload. Sometimes taking some time off, recovery is very important. We'll get more of that in a video later on. Rest days are just as important as lifting, arm care, and throwing. It's just as important. So our focus for game prep is prepare up to 100% game speed. What I mean by that is high intent when we're throwing, high intent when we're on the mound, high intent when we're lifting. And we will be throwing about 6 days a week and still using drills to help fix mechanics, help fix what we suck at. So another example of a drill, if we're not good at staying closed, we're going to super emphasizing catch play to reach our glove arm out and keep it there as long as possible. And maybe I'm a guy that out of nowhere I start opening up like this when I throw, and then we got to work on certain drills where universally the rocker is a great drill for everything. So we'll go forward, back, and then when we go, we'll pull this in. I don't like saying pull in, but in my head it works. Other athletes, other pitchers, pull doesn't work. So you'll just keep it out here and your body will come to it. That's what, if you fly open with your glove, just try to keep it out here. Your body will go to it. For arm care will be your best friend in game prep and throughout all season. If you don't take care of your arm, you won't be healthy. You could, but that's taking a big risk. For me, I'm a big arm care guy. It has to be in my almost daily schedule, almost daily. And strength, we will be strength training at 80 to 90% max for 3 to 5 reps on our core lifts. This is just, we're getting more and more into the strength portion and a little bit out of power. But when we start picking up intensities for throwing, something's got to go away. And we have to prioritize throwing over strength, because we're not bodybuilders, we're not power lifters, we're pitchers. We have to prioritize this. The lower reps we go from 3 to 5, the lower 3, 5 more power. 3 is like maintaining. Now, once we're in season, this will be more like 85 to 95%. Some days that you can only get like 1 or 2 reps on 85%, and then a week later you can get 3 reps on 95%. In season's weird. We want to maintain strength. You're going to be very sore for your outings, for your throwing, if you're trying to lift at 100% for 3 to 5 reps. You're going to be sore, and your performance on the field is going to show how bad you're sore if you focus on strength too much. A lot of kids, they hear pitchers or baseball players in general, they like emphasize, hey, get in the weight room. But hey, don't get in the weight room if you're not even throwing more than 3 days a week. How about focus on doing the sport more than the weight room? If you want to focus on the weight room more, become a power lifter, become a bodybuilder. And all of this sets us up for success in the season. If we don't ramp up correctly, there's a chance we're going to get hurt compared to if we ramp up correctly. If we don't build our foundation, we're not going to be able to perform the best we want, and there's a chance we'll get hurt. All of this is about preparing ourselves so we could throw harder, and throwing strikes, that comes in this phase more so. This kinda, but this is when we get to 100% game speed and we start working our mechanics at game speed. So there's no point to focus on strikes the whole time if we're not even going to go the speed that we are going in game. If we're not going to go game speed, then our mechanics will be different from just this to actually going, if that makes sense. Um, this is all for bullpens. This is sorry for bullpens. Um, this is all for pitch design, throwing strikes, live ABs. Only if you're up to 100% or 90, depends. You can add some short boxes in there, but touching the mound less than 2 times a week is not going to set you up for success. I need to touch the mound at least 2 times. I schedule it to 3 times a week. Now we are going to go into the schedules for ramp up, foundation, and game prep. Here's the schedule I would have for my ramp up phase. You'll notice some patterns throughout my ramp up, foundation, and game prep. Strength is the same throughout. And I think arm care is the same. It's on the same schedule. Now, these schedules will change. They probably will. It just depends on how I feel. Because I don't know what's going to happen 3 months from now. Like, I might have to change something because, I don't know, maybe I broke my ankle in a month because I played pickup basketball or something, and I have to see PT on a certain day or something like that. Like, stuff will change, and you have to be able to adapt. So for throwing on my ramp up schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, light, light, light. Just moving the arm. That's all it is. No throwing on Tuesday, no throwing Thursday, no throwing Saturday, Sunday. For arm care, I like if you throw somewhat heavy somewhat heavy, I like letting the body recover that night, just letting it do its thing, and then the next day you hit it hard, like heavy on Tuesday. So the night before, when you throw, you let the body recover, you let it do its thing, because already throwing is stress to your arm, no matter what it is, no matter how healthy it is, it's stress. So I don't want to add any more stress to it, and if I do, it will be light. So the next day, heavy. Next day, light on a light throwing day. Heavy on a no throwing day. Light on a light throwing day. Heavy on a no throwing day. And my Sundays for throughout every schedule is nothing. I don't do anything on Sundays. Now, if something changes, I'll just move this to here, this to here. If I have to do it, I have to do it. We have to be able to adapt. Now let's move on to foundation. It's it depends on what you want, but what I want is light throwing day on Monday, and then 2 bullpens throughout the week. This can either be it depends where you're at in the foundation schedule from week 1 to week 4 or 5 or 6. Week 1, we probably want to do short boxes for these bullpens. Short box, if you don't know, is 57 feet instead of 60 feet, or 3 feet shorter from home plate. Because when you're throwing lighter and you throw at 60 feet, you're going to have to throw higher than you usually do at 100%. So if you throw 57, that's kind of like emulating the same speed almost, but 3 feet isn't 75% of 60 feet. So it's just different look and helps you see if your pitches are sharp at 75% if you're a little bit closer. Because anything that's thrown at 75%, 60 feet away is just like loopy, if that makes sense. So light for throwing Monday, either short box or if it's week 6, 60 feet bullpen. And this percentage will range from about 65 to even 80%. It just depends. I just put 75 because it's about the middle. Wednesday, nothing. Light Thursday, 75% short box or bullpen. Friday, nothing Saturday, Sunday. Like I said, arm care and strength are the same for the whole schedule. At some point, this might change. Like I said, you have to adapt. Strength, mobility, mobility. 2 things I have to have. If I don't go a week, if I go a week without 2 mobility days, my body feels terrible. And same thing with heavy. If I'm not lifting heavy, my body feels terrible. We're at game prep. This is really when we start picking up, doing real bullpens, throwing out 100%, doing live ABs. And that's fun. It's fun. You get the juices flowing. And then about in weeks 4 through 6, you're like, oh my God, I want to play a game. I want to start going on games. But you got to be locked in. Throwing. Monday, bullpen. Tuesday, light. Wednesday, medium with a short box. Medium to heavy. It depends how you feel. It depends how this day went. This will be your highest intent bullpen day. Yeah, this is bullpen. This is also a bullpen. But you're more than likely going to throw your best here. So we really, if you want to plan your own program, schedule it starting here. I recommend that. It's hard to go from Monday through Saturday unless Monday's your main bullpen day. So Thursday light, Friday our main bullpen day, Saturday light, Sunday nothing. Arm care, just like the other schedules, heavy, light, light, heavy. Nothing. Strength, just like the other schedules. Mobility, heavy, mobility, nothing, heavy, nothing. Now, this is my most important bullpen day because it's like, if I'm going to do live ABs, I'm going to do them on this day. This is just like my midweek pen. This is also another pen, but this is just to touch the mound, get the feeling of the mechanics, because mound mechanics and flat ground mechanics are 2 different things. So the day before, your main pen, main game, whatever, should be the easiest day, honestly. It's just like getting in there, throwing a little bit. If you do throw, for me, I'll throw a little bit, get a little bit of band work for arm care, getting a good warm-up session in, doing some stability stuff, get the body moving, go on a walk, something, just to make my body feel amazing for the next day. And that's why I don't lift, because I don't want to be sore for this. And then the day after the bullpen, light throwing if your arm's up for it, but if it's just a bullpen, your arm is probably up for it. Depends on pain or soreness, and that's where we hit arm care heavy, and then strength heavy. Then Sunday we are chilling, but these 2 days are important. Thursday, Saturday are very important to me. If we do a lot here, we're gonna struggle here. And if we don't do anything here, that kind of sets our week back a lot. We have to attack the next day very well. Now, like I said, I'm not big on doing the heavy arm care the day of a heavy throwing session, unless you're hanging. And for me, there were times I'm just like hanging, and I need to do something. Like it says, light. Do something. Do bands. Do ball drops. Whatever. Body blade. If you're hanging after a bullpen, do some stability work. So this is my program. It was a lot, but that's as a pitching coach. Now that I know, a lot of you might think this is a lot, but when you actually put it into a Google sheet or you write it down, your schedule, you're going to look at it and you're like, I'm set up for success. Use this exact schedule. Use this. Use everything I told you. Use it to your best ability. If you find value in this video and want to make your own program just like this, that's completely fine. But if you want my help, book a call with me below.